Hi, this video will help you to create one of the details that's in the book several times, this solid model shape. And when we look at a shape like this, we have to decide if we want to draw it as separate pieces and then move those pieces together and union them, or if we want to draw it as a flat surface, use press pull to kind of extrude those faces and then rotate it. And there are other options for cutting back some of the shape and molding it in 3D modeling. In this case, I'm looking at the front face or surface, but I'm going to draw it first in the top view, which is the 2D XY plane here that we have been working with in our 2D drawings. And it will look something like this. So the first thing you'll want to do is start a brand new drawing and then save it, and save it as the assignment for this course. And then at the bottom left corner of your screen, you'll notice that there are a lot of status bar commands that we've been learning. The ones that you can use as an option would be the fifth one, which is polar tracking, and the sixth one, object snap. Those two can be the minimum ones that you use, although some of you have ventured into working with other tools in this toolbar. So we're in the top view, and also if you are in the drafting and annotation workspace, which is the 2D workspace that we worked with at the beginning of the course, you can use this drop down here in the quick access toolbar at the top to change from drafting and annotation to 3D modeling. You'll see that the ribbon changes to the workspace for 3D modeling. The other way to get to that is to here use at the very bottom right corner this gear icon. The gear icon also gives you access because sometimes the one up here at the top left has a little glitch. You can use the one at the bottom to get to those workspaces. You can actually save workspaces, so later on when you decide to start customizing which panels and which tools you're working with most often, you can save those as your custom workspace. Okay, so coming back to the top view and you have your file saved, you can go to the Draw panel here in the 3D modeling workspace and find here the circle tool. We have a couple of large circles here, circle, center, diameter. Go ahead and click that. And then pick a point and type in 2 and enter. And now I'm going to go to draw the other circle under here, the circle command, circle, center, diameter. They're both diameter. I'll go to the center of that circle and click and type in 1.5 and enter. At the bottom in those status bar tools, that sixth icon called Object Snap, just rest your pointer on that icon, right click, and make sure that you have a little blue box around the midpoint object snap and the quadrant. Quadrant will help you to snap on to this bottom of the circle, and also later on we'll use tangent. So those three need to be blue along with the other ones that were defaults. The tangent will help you to draw this line tangent to the circle. If those happen to all be blue, then you can use your escape key to get rid of that menu. But make sure that the sixth icon is blue down here at the bottom so that it's actually on. So now I can start the line command and click here at the bottom of the circle, pull your mouse straight to the right, type in 2.25 and enter. And looking at this detail, we went from the bottom of the circle here over all the way to this edge. And now we're going to go up because we're drawing this front face we're going to go up this 0.75. Pull your mouse up, type in 0.75, and enter. And now, as we get close to the circle edge, you'll see the object snap marker called tangent. Go ahead and click, and then enter. Okay, so now we have that front face drawn flat in a 2D plane. We can use, as an option, the offset command to offset this line over 0.375. In the Modify panel, you'll find the offset icon, or you can type in O for offset. And then type in 0.375 and enter. Select here that small line on the right side, and then pick to the left and enter. And now I need to make that line a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it so that I can click inside that grip at the end. Pull your mouse straight up until you see that X and click. And now you can use your escape key to get rid of those grips. So what we did was we drew this front face on the XY flat surface that you would use for regular 2D drawings. I'm going to go ahead and erase this top piece that I was using for the demonstration. So you should have one piece here. Now I'm going to go over to the top cube here in the top right hand side. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger for you to see. There we go. So now in the top cube, you can click at the bottom right corner. When you see that little blue box, you can click on that, and it brings you to the southeast isometric view. This is one way of establishing a different view. The other way would be to go to the View tab at the top and go under Views right here in the View panel. That would also bring you to the southeast isometric view. If you decide not to use the View cube, I'm going to go back to the Home tab. So let's work within the Home tab here. And now if I look at my detail, I have here the circles are actually 1.5 high. So in the first panel, right next to extrude, there's a small blue icon called press pull. Go ahead and click on press pull, and then go inside those two circles and move your mouse around, and it might take a couple of minutes for it to read it, but what you're really doing is looking for those two circles to be highlighted, and then click between those two circles, not on the circle but between them. Pull your mouse straight up and type in 1.5 and enter. Now it doesn't look like a solid shape yet, but it is, and we'll change the view here shortly. The second piece here at the bottom is 0.5, so I can click right inside this shape here, pull your mouse straight up, type in 0.5 and enter. And then this last piece right here, you're going inside the piece until it highlights, and then clicking inside of it, pull your mouse straight up, and make sure you type in 1 and enter. If you look at here, the detail, it's 1 from the back forward on this piece. I actually made it shorter. So as a side note, if you did accidentally make something shorter or too long, you could go to that face, highlight it with press pull still on and active, and then click on that face, pull your mouse in the direction you want to go in, and type in here, for this one, I'll type in 0.25 because originally I made it 0.75, and now it's the same size as what you will see later on in the video when you get to this point. Now it's in the, you can go ahead and enter again. It's in the wireframe visual style, and so we can go here to the view panel, still on the home tab, where you see here the 2D wireframe. Mine actually pops down, but yours probably is still in the panel. Look for this 2D wireframe and change that to conceptual. Now yours probably looks a little different in that you probably have a white model with a black background, and I'll show you how to change that. You can right click and pick options, or you can type in options, and then in the display tab you can click the colors button here and change your color here at the top right to white. Now since we're in this dialog box, I just want to show you that it depends on what space you're in. Right now we're changing the background for the 3D parallel projection, which is what we're using. Let's go ahead and pick apply and close and OK. So here in the conceptual view, which is also the 3D parallel projection, we have a white background and we can see our solid shapes. Well, these are separate objects. When you click on them, you'll see that they're just all three separate pieces. I'm going to use my escape key to get rid of those grips. So what we'll need to do is use the tool called Union to make them one piece. You can find Union here in the solid editing panel. It's those two blue rings. You can click on that and then select each one of these three pieces and enter. And now the whole thing is all one piece. Okay, so let's rotate this. We can use 3D rotate to rotate it onto its side 90 degrees here along this x-axis. So in the modify panel, you'll find here a little colorful sphere icon, and it says there 3D rotate. I'll go ahead and click on 3D rotate, select here your shape, enter it. Your command line should ask you for a base point. I'll just click here at the top, at the front corner. And now this is the important part, is which way do you want to rotate this solid model? When you get close to the rings, you'll see lines that indicate the axis that you're using. We want to go close to the red ring. It turns the ring kind of yellowish, but you'll see that this red line represents the y-axis. I'm going to go ahead and click and then type in 90 and enter. And you'll see that when you work with press pull, there are actually the original lines still left behind. With press pull, it doesn't consume the line work. It is separated. You can hold your shift key down, press the wheel of your mouse to move your mouse and kind of orbit to the other side. Now this is your choice whether you just erase these or you can put them on a different layer. Some people like to create different layers so that you can keep your 2D line work that you might need later on. So totally up to you. Later in life you can do that. I'll go ahead and at least erase these that are visible. There's still one more line here, but for our purposes it won't be in the way. We can hold our shift key down, press the wheel of our mouse, and come back into here a view that looks like our detail. Now there is a small line there that is part of the transition between the curved shape and the smooth shape. We can change different settings to get rid of that, but for now this is our 3D shape that's all one piece. And now we're ready to draw this circle on this face so that we can use press pull and take out that solid piece, creating a hole. Another way of doing that would be to create a cylinder and then subtract it from the solid piece. Okay, so here we know that we want to draw the circle on the face. Make sure that the icon down here that looks like an L shape with a lightning bolt is on. That's going to allow and disallow dynamic UCS, which will basically take this XY plane and put it on this surface so that the Z is coming out from the surface. So the first thing we'll do is start the line command in the draw panel and then highlight this front face so that you can see it's dashed and highlighted, and then go back to the back corner here and click. Pull your mouse along this bottom edge, type in 0.75 and enter. Then pull your mouse straight up and type in 0.375 and enter. And now you have a line there that you can use. You can enter again to draw this circle on this face. You won't need to change your view, but I'm going to change from conceptual to 2D wireframe so that you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. I'm drawing on the surface so I can start here the circle center diameter. We have a circle of diameter 0.25, so circle center diameter, and then highlight this front face so that it's dashed and looks like it's highlighted, and then click here at the end point of this line, and notice here that the Z is coming out from that surface and the circle is on it. It's kind of drawing it vertically. You can then type in 0.25 and enter. And just so you can see this visually, when you start here any command that asks for a point and you go close to a surface, notice that the UCS at the bottom left corner still shows the Z up. But when you highlight the surface, you can notice that the view cube kind of rotates to that view. You see how it's up on its side there? And the top view then kind of temporarily is rotated so that you can draw on that surface. Okay, we can then erase here this small line, and I'll go back to the conceptual visual style instead of the 2D wireframe. I'm ready to start the press pull tool in the modeling panel here. Go inside that circle and then click inside the circle, not on the line of the circle, but right inside of it. You notice here if you pull your mouse away from the solid model, it will create a solid shape. But if you pull your mouse back here through just that front part and click, it actually will take that solid piece out. So I'm using my shift key and the wheel of my mouse to kind of orbit around to see that the hole is there. You can then press enter or escape to get out of that command. Before you switch to layout 1, we're going to create a few layers. So go to the layer panel and go over to layer properties. We've done this before when we were working with 2D drawings. You can go ahead and click on the new layer icon, this icon with a sheet of paper, this little star there. Type in text and enter twice. And then we're going to type in a new layer called Viewport and enter. You can change the viewport layer color if you like, just so that you know what layer those objects are on. And most importantly here is that we're going to click on the small printer icon in the layer dialog box for just the viewport layer. And what that does is it makes that layer a no plot layer. This is you experiencing here a setting that will allow your objects to be seen in the drawing but never plotted, which is kind of a nice way of using it for reference objects. And before we switch to layout 1, we're going to make the viewport layer current. So double click here on that sheet of paper in front of viewport or the green check mark, either way. Let's go ahead and close out of the layer properties manager. Now we're ready to go to layout 1 as a choice. Some people will work within this model space. But remember, within this model space, you're only printing one view and one scale. So I'll just go ahead and maximize the drawing screen here, and then I'll go to layout 1 at the bottom left corner. Many companies will use this space as a kind of a paper space. It's been called in the past. We covered this in previous details, so some of this should be a review. This box then becomes the hole in the paper, or kind of an opening like a window in a wall. So if I double click inside this viewport, I can use the wheel of my mouse to move around inside this hole. And as an option, you can click on these numbers down here at the bottom right corner and make here your part a specific scale. So some of these scales, like 2:1, I think the 2:1 is a good one for this one for now. So go inside here, this viewport, and click on these numbers and click 2:1. If you didn't scale this in class, then it's okay. I just wanted to show you this as an option for this detail. You're still inside the viewport, so make sure that before you put your text in, you put it, before you place your text, you double click out here in the paper space so that you're on kind of the top plane. And for now, we are putting our text in the paper space. Later on, I'm going to show you how to rotate this UCS so that the Z is coming right towards you in any view. So let's go ahead and double click outside of the paper, outside of the viewport, so that you're in the paper. You'll know you're in the paper when you have this triangular icon at the bottom right or bottom left corner, and you have an icon here that says paper. This is actually another way of going in and out of that viewport to click on this icon down at the bottom called paper. See, then I can click on the icon called model to go back to it. And also one more thing, when you're inside the viewport and you are setting your scale, once you set your scale, there's a little lock that's next to the menu for your scales. If you lock it right there, then when you are in the paper space, I double clicked outside, or in the model space, either way, when you start to zoom, it kicks you out of that viewport so that your scale is set and locked. I'll go ahead and double click out here, and now I want to make a different layer current so that I can put my text in. I'll go ahead and pick text in the drop down or layer 0, either way, and I'll go to the annotate tab, and in the annotate tab I'll pick multi-line text here like we have been doing. I can click for my first corner, pull my mouse over and click for my second corner, and then with the cap locks on I can start to type in whatever assignment this is for you. Check your assignments and put in the number here of which assignment this is, highlight it, and click U for underline. click out in space, and save your file. I think it's a good idea to set up for printing. So if you click on the little printer plotter at the top left, here if you have a smaller dialog box, you can click on this greater than symbol to open up that panel. You can decide on which printer you're going to be working with and change here this drop down to monochrome. And that's it. That's all you need to do here in this paper, because you're printing the layout and the margins are set here with this dash line. You can pick apply to layout and always preview your drawing before you print it. You want to make sure that there's no box. That would be that viewport that we put on a no plot layer, and make sure that your text is actually on a different layer. If you don't see your text here or your object, it could be that they are on either the viewport layer that's turned off or the layer for those objects is turned off as a no plot layer. Okay, for the online students, we can set up printing and then exit and cancel. You can print them at home if you'd like to build your portfolio. And the in-class students will be printing this in class. And then submit your file. So go ahead and save your file and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help you.